Before cell phones, it was hard to take a picture of yourself every day. Wait a minute. People take pictures of themselves every day? Like every single day? Why? Before cameras, it was hard to get a picture of yourself at all. You had to find someone with the skills to make a picture of you, and that took a long time. So portraits were more rare. Selfies are actually self-portraits. That's when the artist makes a picture of themselves. Today we're going to draw our self-portrait using a method that incorporates math, specifically fractions. We're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. If your pencil doesn't have an eraser, you might need an extra eraser. And we're also going to need a ruler. We're going to begin this portrait with the head. We're going to draw the head really large. So this is the kind of portrait that you would get on picture day at school. The picture focuses on your face and your head, and down at the bottom, your neck and your shoulders might show a little bit. The head could be an oval. I like to draw it more like an upside down egg. So the smaller part of the egg, where the chin is at the bottom, and the larger part, where your giant brain is at the top. While I'm at it, I'm also going to sketch in the neck and the shoulders. So this is the basic layout of the portrait. Head, neck, shoulders. Now we're going to use our ruler, and we're going to use some fractions. So we're going to consider the head as one whole head. So right now the head is approximately 8 inches. So we're going to cut the 8 inches in half, which is 4. So this is 4, right about there. And I'm going to draw a line very lightly, completely across. So these are my guidelines. I don't want them to be too dark because I want to erase them later. All right, so now we're here again. This is 4. We're going to divide this in half again. So we went from 8, cut it in half to around 4, cut it in half again to around 2. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. 8, cut that in half to around 6. So you can see that these are not precise, they're estimates. And I'm going to put a guideline here and a guideline here. So far, what we did was we took the whole head, 1, and we divided it into halves. 1 half, 2 halves. Then we divided each half into 2 more halves. So now they're fourths. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. And then we're going to divide this bottom piece one last time. So it's approximately 2-ish inches. So we're going to divide that in half, and it's going to be around the 1. And I'm going to raise it since this is a little bit higher than the 2, I'm going to raise this a little bit higher than the 1, right about there. And we're going to draw a guideline. So I've divided this fourth into eighths. There's 1/8, 2/8. If I kept going, there'd be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 eighths. But we don't need those for the other sections. This line that's the half is where the eyes are going to go. Now, I'm not going to draw them completely yet, but I am just going to block them in. So there are the eyes. So right now, I'm not focused on drawing my eyes. I'm just drawing eyes. The next line below the eyes is where the nose goes. And lots of people think, oh my gosh, that's really low. My nose is not that long. But really, we're including the bridge of the nose that starts in between your eyes and goes all the way down to the squishy part of your nose at the end. So there's a nose. Again, doesn't look like my nose, it's just a generic nose because I'm blocking things in. The next line is where the mouth goes, with the bottom lip underneath. The face looks pretty accurate from right here. All the measurements worked out pretty well. The last line up here, this is where the hair is. Lots of people think they start drawing hair from the top of the head, but really, if you put your hand on top of your head, that's not where your hair begins. It actually begins a little bit closer to your forehead. So we're going to kind of draw the outline of hair right here. And you also have hair on the sides of your head, so don't forget that. If you look in the mirror, you'll see that there's hair that goes down the sides, and then it moves back even more where your sideburns are next to your eyes. And then within this space, you put whatever kind of hair style you want. If you have long hair that sticks out, then it's going to come out of the egg. You know, if you had a ponytail, it would come out of your egg. But if you just have like hair that sticks up, a lot of it is going to stay inside this egg shape. Ears. So your ears go inside this space here. Now, in real life, our ears don't stick out like that. They sit nicely on the sides of our head, so we're gonna see them flatter than what they look like if you were looking at them from the side. So you're just seeing kind of like the front of the ear as it sticks out a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and put a collar to the shirt. The next step is to make those features look more like us. I'm gonna start off by adding my glasses. The way the portrait looks now looks like a person, but it doesn't look like me. If you have a little mirror to look at yourself, or maybe you can find a picture of yourself somewhere, that could probably be really helpful. Being able to look at the details while you're trying to draw them makes it a lot easier to draw. Everyone's eyes, nose, mouth, and ears don't look the same. And seeing what they look like in a picture or in your reflection can help you make them look more accurate. The way I draw the nose is I start at the eyes, and I start with the bridge of the nose in between the eyes. I come all the way down and curve at the bottom squishy part of your nose, and then the nostrils come out from the sides. Now I might leave it like this, but sometimes I also erase parts to make it look more realistic. I don't really like these two lines between the nostril and the nose. I want that to be one piece. Sometimes I erase a little bit of the bridge that goes up to the eyes. A lot of that depends on the light. If the light is hitting this side of the nose, well then I'll leave this line here and maybe even make it thick like a shadow. And I might erase this side because it's lighter. Or I might do the opposite if the light comes from the other side. It isn't vital that you include every single tiny last detail to draw a picture of yourself. When I draw a mouth, I typically focus on the expression of the mouth, the line in between the lips. So if I'm smiling a little bit, I might curve it up. If I were frowning, I might curve it down. A lot of times, I just draw it straight across. After I draw the mouth, I draw the bottom lip. I don't usually draw the top lip because it's not as visible as the bottom lip. Usually the bottom lip has a shadow underneath it because most of the time the light is coming from above. So the light hits the lip and creates a shadow underneath. For the top lip, the opposite happens. The light hits the lip, so there isn't really a shadow to show up there. So I usually leave it blank. Sometimes I might draw this space that's in between this shape that's right underneath your nose. If you've ever seen a caricature drawing, they're done by focusing on the most important details. And the artist makes the portrait look like someone by emphasizing those important details that are unique to you. So rather than trying to draw every last detail, focus on the things that make you look like you, like your hairstyle, or jewelry that you might be wearing, or an expression that you make a lot. There are a lot of techniques for drawing an eye. If you have a technique or a style that you like, stick with that. This is one way of drawing an eye. I start by drawing the top eyelid, and then I add the bottom eyelid. Inside, I draw the iris, which is the colored part of your eye, and I draw the pupil. You're always going to see the entire pupil because that's the hole that we see through. If it was covered, we wouldn't be able to see. For the iris, we normally don't see the whole iris. Part of it's covered up by the eyelids. Now that can change depending on the expression. To change the expression of the eye, we just alter the eyelids. We can make the eye closed more, which might look suspicious. We see the whole pupil, but we see even less of the iris. If you were shocked or scared or surprised, your eye might be open even more. So I curve the top eyelid higher and the bottom eyelid lower. This time you might see the entire iris because the eyes are open so large and the pupil is in the middle. After you finish drawing the details for your portrait, or if you need a break from the details for a little while, don't forget to add something to the background. For For this portrait, we're going to add things to the background that help to further describe us. So you might put things that you like, you might put things that you are interested in, or details that describe you in the background. Maybe your favorite place, or maybe your favorite sport, something like that. Because I like art so much, I'm going to add splatters of paint to the background, and they're going to overlap so that when I color them, there'll be lots of different splatters of colors filling the entire background. So decorate your background with a pattern or design that gives us more information about you as a person. Now that it's time to color, I'm going to try to use some non-realistic colors. We need to make sure that we color as neatly as possible, we stay inside the lines, and we try to fill as much of the white space as we can. It's okay to leave white spaces here and there for things that are meant to be white, but the more white that shows, the more it looks like it's not actually finished. Well, that's kind of funny. The portrait actually looked more accurate before I colored it. Obviously, I'm not pink, but I think the drawing itself looks a little distorted now with the colors included. Either way, I'm happy with it. I hope you're happy with yours, and I will see you next time. Bye.